Hello?
Hi. Hey guys, so in today's video, I'm gonna be going through all of my favorite, most essential makeup brushes. So I'm gonna be doing like eyeshadow, face, eyeliner, concealer, the whole kit and caboodle for my whole face, everything that I love to use. I've actually only made one favorite brushes video, and it was like right when I started my channel, which was a couple years ago. So I decided it was about time to do an updated one. I'm also gonna be throwing in like my essential makeup tools, like tweezers and eyelash curler and stuff like that, things I use to do my makeup. All right, so I'm gonna start with the tools first just because it's not as much. And the first one is gonna be my tweezers. I'm gonna keep it real authentic here today. Everything I'm gonna show you is gonna be very used. It's gonna have a lot of product in it. I've got a lot of eyelash glue stuck to my tweezers right now. I'm trying to get it off. So anyway, my first favorite item is my tweezers. These are the tweezers. Is it Tweezerman or Tweezerman? So I like the shorter ones. I like the grip. They're just my favorite kind of tweezers. That's all I really got to say about it. I was using, I think, Revlon ones for a really long time, and then I switched over to these ones, and I just really like them. They do have long ones. They have ones that are like really sharp and like long and skinny, almost like little needles, but I like these flat ones. Perfect for pulling out if you got a few stragglers or to put on your eyelashes, your false eyelashes. But they're my favorite. I think if you buy them at like Target or something, they're like $17 a piece, which is crazy. I do not like buying tweezers, especially because of how often I lose them. It's very, very upsetting to me. What I like to do is I buy these on Amazon. I wanna say it's like a pack of 3 for like $30. I might totally be making that up right now. Let me check real quick. Hold please. Checking the Zon. $11. Get it by tomorrow. Pack of 1. Anyway, I buy these on Amazon. Always gotta have backup tweezers in the house because if you lose a pair of tweezers, there is no replacing it. It's not like a brush where you could go grab a different brush and kind of make it work. If you lose tweezers, that's it. It's over for you. All right, next item I'm gonna be sharing with you is my favorite eyelash curler. This has actually been my favorite for like the past year. This one is from Tarte. It's just bouncy. It adds a nice curl to the lashes. Whenever I curl my lashes, I do a tap at the base, tap in the middle, and tap at the end. It holds the curl. I just think it's really great. Now, I did want to throw out there, this Tarte lash curler is not to be confused with this Tarte lash curler, okay? Do you see this one? This one's sparkly. This one makes you feel like maybe you're getting more. Maybe, I don't know, maybe just something more special is gonna happen. I can feel the difference, first of all, in the squeeze. It's in the spring. I can feel the difference. This one does not curl my lashes at all. Like not even a little bit, not even a bend. Don't get this one, get this one. All right, so the next item that I have that is absolutely crucial to me is this. I use this every single day. I bring this with me everywhere I travel. This is what I pump my foundation onto when I dip my beauty blender in it or my makeup brush to buff it onto my skin. I do put my concealer on here. What else do I put on here? What else?
His dick.
Okay, so I put all my liquid product that gets pumped out onto here rather than the back of my hand because I won't remember to wipe it off after I'm done with my makeup. I feel like a lot of product gets absorbed into the back of your hand. I feel like this is more sanitary. I sanitize it every single day. I actually got this tip from my sister-in-law, Kim. She hooked it up. She let me know. I've been doing it ever since she told me about it. It is great. This is just a glass coaster from Target. It's not a drink coaster, it's a candle coaster. So it's in the candle aisle at Target and it's like $1.50. I have a couple of them. It's just a great little tool to use for your foundation. Next item that I have is actually a product. This is the Inglot Duraline. This stuff is great. I actually lost mine for a while and I just found it again. It is clear, it's like a little gel and it has a dropper. It's like a plasma substance. And this is what I put in my eyeliner, like I used it today. You put this in your hot eyeliner and it will totally make it like new again. So if you use a gel liner that's in a pot or something that can dry out, like dip brow, you can use this in dip brow for your brows. Just put 1 drop of this in there and you don't need to like stir the whole thing up. I just put a drop in and in that little area, I'll take some of the product and apply my eyeliner. It makes it so much easier to apply if the liner is a little bit older or if it's just not brand new because gel liners dry out really, really quickly. So this stuff is really great. I think it's like $9 and it lasts forever because even if you use it every day, you only use maybe a drop a day. So now I'm gonna move on to my favorite face brushes. I'm gonna start with foundation, how I apply foundation. The first one, of course, is the Beauty Blender. Love the Beauty Blender to apply foundation. Use the butt of it, the bottom side. The black one I feel like shows so much, unfortunately, but supposedly the black one is the best. Supposedly the black one is the softest. It just applies foundation really nicely. It buffs out your concealer really nicely if you want to do highlighting around the eyes. So that's one of my favorite ways to apply foundation. Next favorite way to apply foundation is this brush, and this is EcoTools stippling brush. It's just, as you can see, a nice little stippling brush. It's got a nice, I'm gonna say nice a lot. Play a drinking game, take a shot every time I say nice. It's okay. It's okay with me. This just has a really great application. It's very soft focus, kind of similar to a beauty blender, how it gives a really smooth look. This one can leave little tiny streaks if you don't kind of like actually stipple when you're done. So when I apply foundation, I typically use this with like the Armani Luminous Silk or like Makeup Forever Ultra HD, especially when I mix those two together. I don't know why, maybe because I can like mix it with the brush. So I buff it on like this, and then I kind of stipple once I'm done because this is a stippling brush, just to make it look nice and smooth. This one's also for like my, holy shit, I only have 10 minutes to put my face on.
When is that ever the case?
Why are you throwing shade at me right now? Are you gonna shade me every time I say anything that you don't agree with?
I would just like you to keep it real.
All right, the next brush that I love is this one. This is a Tarte. I don't actually have the name of this brush, but it's a flat top Kabuki brush. And I believe this is from the Rainforest of the Sea collection because it's got the gold to purple gradient. So this is a flat top Kabuki brush. I like to do this with like full coverage foundations, the Marc Jacobs one. Something like that. There are a lot of really great flat top Kabuki brushes out there. I had to say that really slow. Sigma has some really good ones. Who else, Johnny?
Morphe.
Morphe has some good flat top Kabuki brushes. They're just really good to have. You know, sometimes it's just like, I don't want to use a beauty blender today. I want to use a flat top Kabuki. And you can. I'll jump to concealer next. All right, so when I apply my concealer on my face, I use a concealer brush. And sometimes, like on my under eyes, I'll use like a concealer brush to apply it and then I'll buff it out with something else. Right now, this is my favorite concealer brush. This one is from e.l.f. I just picked this up at Target a few weeks ago and I've been using it every day. I love this one because it's like, obviously it's that flat concealer brush shape. It's nice and thin, but it's also got like a nice it's tight. So it's not really floppy because it's not what I really want when I apply concealer. And you can also, if you want to clean up around the lips, this is a really great one to use as well. And then when I buff out my concealer, this is my ultimate favorite. This is the Morphe E8 brush. This is actually my favorite collection from Morphe, the Elite collection, the one that looks like this. All the bristles look like this. Absolutely my favorite. If I recommended any collection from Morphe, it would be the Elite collection for the face. This one is so great for buffing out concealer under the eyes. You can stipple, you can circle and buff, you can get all up in here. Really great brush. It's just really good. Okay, so then after I buff out my concealer on my under eyes, what do I use to set it since I don't use my beauty blender? All-time favorite brush for the face is this one from e.l.f. I love this brush. I have so many that I actually lose them more often because I'm like, oh, I got backups, don't worry about it. But this is the e.l.f. small tapered brush. It has a nice small taper to it and it fits perfectly. You see that? Girl. So this is what I use to set my under eyes when I use my RCMA no color powder. This is what I use to put on like highlighting powder, like if I want to use a more yellow powder. And this is also what I use. I keep this in my purse when I'm out all day long. John, you know what I'm talking about, huh? I will keep this in my purse, straight up pull it out and just get a little buff going on. You got creasing under your eyes? You don't anymore. Not anymore, girlfriend. All right, one of my next favorite brushes is more like the style of brush, although I do use this one very regularly. This is a Luxy 508 dual fiber stippling brush. So this type of brush, this is the dual fiber. I don't know if you guys remember in like older videos, I would use a dual fiber brush to set my face. This is what I'm using this one for. The other one is from Crown and I don't know if it's available anymore, so I'm using this one now. This one is just the same thing. Like if I want to put some translucent powder on my face or I want to set my face because I don't like my face being hella wet, after I put on liquid foundation. Just a little bit of this, you're done and ready to go. This is a really great tool to use for setting powders for the whole face just because it does such a light application and it's not gonna apply like too much in one spot. What I also do with this type of brush is if I put on too much blush, which happens very regularly to me because once I start putting on blush, if I really like it, I will keep putting it on and then it'll just look crazy. So I'll just go in with this, buff out the blush with like some sheer powder or just nothing on it just to diffuse it a little bit because nobody has time to redo their whole face after they put blush on. You're pretty much, it's game over for you. You can't just like take that step off. So I'll just buff it out. My favorite bronzer brush is this one from MAC. This one will give you the bronzer helmet, as we saw Desi do in our collab video. This is the MAC 135. It looks like this. It's very long. It's got a nice taper to it. It just fits perfectly for these areas. And then if you also want to bring it down and use it to kind of warm up the cheekbones, you can do that as well. It's a really nice brush. I know MAC brushes are really expensive, but they are really good brushes. All right, next I'm going to talk about contouring brushes. So there are a lot of days I just skip contouring the cheekbones. Sometimes I feel like it makes you look more fresh and like clean and youthful when you don't have contour on the cheekbones. But on the days that I do like to do it, I like to use brushes that apply a very natural looking contour, something very soft and subtle. My longtime favorite brush is the Sigma F40. This is the large angled contour brush. I've been using this same brush for a really, really long time now. This one, I just feel like it has a really nice shape. It has a really nice, what do we call this? Flop. It has a nice flop to it. So that's where it really matters, especially when it comes to contouring. If it's too long, it'll be too floppy and then it just won't give you contour that you want. But I like this one because I feel like I can kind of like do it in circles and buff it down. And then the next brush that I have for contouring, this is like my high end. I want to be a little bit more fierce today than normal. This is the Marc Jacobs The Blush Brush. So this one is a little bit more dense and it's a little bit more narrow. So this one's gonna do a little bit more of a sleek, fierce contour. And this one, I just really focus like really close up to the ear. And I just bring it to like right here. This is the one where I only go halfway down because if I go down to here, this is Chris Brown cheekbone territory down here. All right, so now for the nose contour, you guys know I love me like a strong contour right up in here on the nose just to add a little fierceness. My favorite brush to use, this is the only brush I really have been using lately for that, is the Morphe E13. This is also from their Elite collection, one of my favorite brushes to use just because it's not too dense. I like to apply it in layers and get it up to where I want it to be gradually rather than doing like a really strong contour all at once. So I just like this one. I feel like it just fits in this spot really nicely on my face and I can snatch as needed. All right, blush brush. This is my absolute favorite blush brush. This is the Crown IB 105 Tapered Blush. I used to actually use this same looking brush, but it was a lot fuller on top. It was the IB 126. Since then, I have recently stopped using that one. I'm using this one just because it's a little bit smaller. It just feels right on my face. All right, and now for the glow. So I have recently started using fan brushes to apply highlight to the tops of the cheekbones. I've never liked fan brushes. Still kind of like about them. So this is the Smashbox Fan Brush. I like to use that one. And then I also really like to use this one. This is from Japonesque. This one is just a really nice, this one's a little bit larger, but I also like to use this one to apply highlighter. And then for all over glow, if I want to use like my Galactic Face Glow or just apply like bronze highlighter all over my face when I'm on vacation or something, I like to use this one from Japonesque as well. This one is just kind of like a nice dome. I'll kind of go here, bring it to this territory, and then even go over like my whole cheek with my Galactic Face Glow, something like that. And I actually see Harush, I'm like 85% sure that she uses this one to apply bronzer. She mentioned she liked this one because it's a much like lighter application. It's a very soft touch brush, but these are really nice brushes, all the brushes in this collection. All right, so now I'm gonna go ahead and move on to eye brushes, all the eye brushes, eyeshadow blending, packing, liner, brow. I'll start with brow because there's only one. My favorite eyebrow brush to use is the one from Anastasia Beverly Hills. Oh my god, all the writing has rubbed off on this. Are you kidding me? This is my favorite eyebrow brush because it's nice and thin It has a nice little compact, it's dense. It's a dense angled brush, and it's really great for doing brows, especially when you don't really have that many brows. I use this with powder. I use this with pomade. I have two of these, so I'm supposed to use one for powder and one for the pomade, but you know, do I ever know which one is which? No, I do not. So I end up using them both all the time. But I just love it. It's really great because I have to draw this part on, and it just works really nicely, and it has a little spoolie at the end. All right, now I'm gonna go through eyeliner brushes, and these are a little embarrassing because I haven't washed them in a minute. This one's actually the worst. This is the worst. Please don't judge me. This is the Sigma Winged Liner E06 brush. And I got this because this is a part of the I Love Sarai collection of her favorites. You see how teeny tiny it is? This is a teeny tiny angled liner brush. It is great because it's very, very thin, which is perfect for getting that really tiny little flick at the end of your liner. For me, I swear I have the most difficult eyelids. I feel like some people can just go and it's done. I have to do mine in a lot of little strokes, so this one helps out a lot. If you have that problem, I definitely recommend getting a smaller brush. I feel like that's what's helped me a lot. And then my other favorite brush, I actually have 3 of them, is from Zoeva, and this is the Wing Liner 317 brush. So this is all 3 of them right here. They're all Zoeva, all the same brush, but they're a part of different collections. What I wanted to say was that this one, the one that's really, really pretty, is actually the worst one. I can't use this one because it's like way thicker than these two. So if you're gonna be buying it, I would recommend not getting the really pretty one, even though you might want the really pretty one. But these two are my favorite. It applies it a little bit quicker than using the teeny tiny one, but it's essentially the same thing as the Sigma one, just larger. Next favorite eyeliner type brush is this one from Bare Minerals. This is the Soft Focus Liner Brush. I've had this brush for like 6 years, I think. I've had it for a really long time. It's been through it, but it's still holding up. I love, love, love this one. This is also an angled one, but it is a lot softer than the other ones I just showed you. This is what I use to set my waterline, so I have to wash this one very frequently. But anyway, this is what I use to set my waterline with black eyeshadow, so that way it doesn't run. This is also what I use to smudge sometimes on my lower lash line. I use it to set, see how it's a little shiny right there? I'll set my false lash glue so it's not so shiny looking with black eyeshadow using this brush. This is also my favorite brush to use to cut the crease with black eyeshadow. So right here, if you're trying to do like a fierce cut crease, this one's really great to draw it on with because it doesn't skip at all. Ooh, this, the shade brush. This is the brush that you use when you want to throw shade, mad shade. These brushes are packing brushes. And as you can tell, you probably know what, do you know what toots I've used these for? The Aqua tutorial and the Xenon tutorial. These are not the same.
2 months ago, why don't you wash your brushes?
You need to simmer down. You need to. I haven't used it again. So the first shader brush that I love, this is the MAC 239. This is a very popular brush used for packing on the lid. Anything, pigments, eyeshadow, glitter, packing on the lid, heavily applying a product onto the lid. MAC 239. And this one is the Zoeva 234 Luxe Smokey Shader. This is a part of that rose gold collection. I have a few of these exact brushes, the 234s from other collections of Zoeva. They just look different on the handle. I want to say it's like completely identical to the MAC one. It's basically essentially the exact same thing. Both great for packing, shading. Obviously, I like to use these to pack color on the lids. Next one, I love to use, this one I love to use for like glitters, sparkles, stuff like that. This is the City Color CC E07 brush. I actually got all these City Color brushes in a kit. And I do like that kit. I think it's really good. People always ask me, what's your favorite brush kit? As you can tell, it's very hard for me to just be like, oh, I just want this one set and that's it. I would rather like poke around from different brands, different collections, pick and choose, pick and pull parts. I can't really nail down just one collection or kit that I really love that I would use every single day. But I have used a lot of the City Color brushes. It came in like a little kit. Very affordable. I thought they were really great brushes. The CCE07 is kind of like a 239, but way smaller. Really good for also packing glitters and whatnots on the lid. And these two, oh, these are actually the shader brushes. First one is the Morphe E14, big fatty fat brush. As you can tell, it's got, I think this is peach smoothie on the lid. This is what I use on my lid today. Pack color all over if you want to do it all over the lid. If you're doing like a cut crease, this just adds a heavy application of color onto the lid. Love using brushes like this one, Morphe E14. And then another one that's very similar is the Luxy 213 Eye Shading Brush. They're very, very similar. The Morphe one's just a little bit fatter, but they essentially do the same thing. All right, now I have blending brushes, Crease blending brushes. These are like, if I had to only have eyeshadow brushes, these are the ones that I would use. Somehow managed to make them work for everything. The first one that I've been using a lot more lately is from Zoeva. This is the Luxe Soft Definer Brush, number 227. It looks very similar to a MAC 217. I would just say it's a little bit fluffier. So here's a 217. I mean, they're pretty identical, but I would say this one applies a little bit more product, a little bit wider. So I use that today for just pretty much all my eyeshadow. Just a little ABH fawn in the crease, windshield wipers back and forth, a little swirl, windshield wipers. It just adds like it's a nice soft wash color, but you can also build it up with this one. Very similar to a MAC 217, which is also one of my favorites. I love this brush, but because I've found so many alternatives, I found myself not using it as often anymore. My other favorite eyeshadow blending / applying color brushes are from Smith Cosmetics. I absolutely love their brushes, super high quality, amazing, and they're very sexy. The first one, which is my favorite, is the Smith 247. This one's very similar to the MAC 217, but it's a little bit shorter, just a hair shorter. So I feel like this one works really well. Instead of just blending, this one adds a color more like in the crease. Like I would apply like a darker brown just right in here, but it still has all the benefits of a MAC 217 or like a fuller blending brush. It's just a little bit smaller, so you can add it in a more compact area. And then I have this other one from Smith. This is 230, very similar to the other one. It's just a little bit rounder. And then Zoeva 228 Luxe Crease Brush. This one's a lot fluffier than the other Zoeva one that I showed you that looks like a 217. It's also longer and rounder. It's more tapered. I like to use this, say I'm just doing Makeup Geek Creme Brulee, for example. And I just am doing whoop, whoop, whoop. This is what I would use for that. It's a little bit rounder, applies a little bit less, but it's a very soft focus brush. All right, now we have the pencil brushes and smudging brushes, lower lash line brushes. I know I've already talked about this one before. This is the Luxy 231. Love this one. It's really great for doing like a dramatic crease. If you stick this in your crease with a dark shadow and just go back and forth like 5,000 times, your crease will be popping. Like right now, if I threw sienna on here, get out. Or this one's really great. I've been using it a lot for the lower lash line, but this one works really great if you're trying to do a heavier smoke, not with like black eyeshadow, but say sienna or something like that. You really wanted to buff it out on the lower lash line. This one's really nice. I have 3 pencil brushes here that I'll just go over pretty quickly because it's pretty self-explanatory. This is what I use to apply highlight to the inner corners of the eye, or you could also use it to smoke out on the lower lash line. The first one is the Sigma E30 pencil brush, go-to for packing on highlight on the inner corner. The Luxy 230 pencil brush also has some Belladonna Lily on here. Didn't wash it yet. Haven't used it though, just saying. And then this one is the Luxy 217 pencil brush. Pack it on the inner corner. This one would be good for buffing onto the lower lash line too. And then the last few that I have, these are smoking, like the heavy smoke. I'm ready to put black eyeshadow, dark brown on my lower lash line. So the first one is the one I use most regularly. This is the Morphe E36. This one's really great for doing smoking a deeper color on the lower lash line if you don't want it to go too low, like you don't want to smoke it too much. This one's really great to use. And then the other one that I have is a Zoeva 238. This is the Precise Shader Brush. This one's a little bit flatter. So this is what I use for like really, really dark browns. If I want to get a little bit closer to the lash line, I can use this one, but it still has a nice taper. And then lastly, I have a Smith 304. I'm pretty sure this is a lip brush, but I actually use this for black eyeshadow. It's kind of similar to that Zoeva one I just showed you, but it's great for throwing black, bringing it out in here if you want to do black all up in the lash line. All right, so that wraps up all of my favorite makeup brushes and tools. I know it was a lot of talking. I drank like 5 glasses of water while filming this video. Hopefully it wasn't too much, but you know, I really wanted to share with you guys all of my favorite tools. So let me know what you guys thought in the comments down below. Also, let me know if there are any fire brushes or brands that I am missing out on. I would love to hear your guys' feedback and recommendations. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and thank you so much for watching. We're matching today, girl. This, what happened? I will kill you back, girl.